Yeah, it's definitely, it's interesting when you sometimes, look at the comparisons, between Europe and China and US and, other kind of societies, right? Of course, they're governed in a different way, and the values are completely different, or at least the focus, right? Like, as you mentioned, definitely in China, the focus is on the, let's say on the team, right? On the country as a whole. And that's why they're governed in that way, right? They don't really, fight with each other, even in the political standpoint. They just have one direction, to be appointed to be the president, or to be the number one person. Like, you actually have to go through a lot of different number of let's say tests, etc. And they just have that direction, and they just follow that direction. They may adjust it, as the situation progresses, and as they see that maybe certain things are not working, certain things are working very well, so they may adjust the the direction. But it's definitely, focus on the group, and on the success of the group. But uh, I don't know, it's actually interesting. You don't really have, discussions like this in China. I don't know really how to kind of, from which angle I would be answering this, because I'm a foreigner living here, and so I still, like, of course, don't understand, all the nuances and all the aspects of the culture, etc. And people don't really question these things. Like, it's not that they would be, looking at, of course, people that have experience from the US, that lived in Europe or somewhere, they're much more open-minded, and they, sometimes they like it much more. Sometimes they're like, yeah, we like, the best of both worlds. We would love to have a combination of that, because they also see problems in the other system. So this is something that is kind of like still hard to dissect, I would say. But the last part of the question, you said, how does it affect? Sorry, can you just repeat what you said?
Is there's like this concept of social businesses and environmental
Yeah,
impact.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think, definitely China also, I would say, when I compare it on the grassroots level, China, I would say, lags behind, because when you look at Europe, when you look at even Hong Kong, when you look at Singapore, these movements are huge, right? Like the sustainability, people talk about it a lot. You see a lot of events, and you see just people like building startups in those areas. It's definitely not number one priority, I would say, in the on the grassroots level. I mean, that like entrepreneurs would be trying to solve this issue, and that's the number one thing that they want to do. So that's one thing. On the other hand, I have to say that from the uh, angle of the government, that they understand that they have issues, right? They understand that China is creating or consuming a lot of energy, and still number one source is coal, right? And they need to solve this problem, because China is growing, consumption is growing, and it's probably not going to peak anytime soon. It will still take maybe 10 years before they achieve the peak, right? And so they understand that there is this underlying problem, and I wouldn't say that China is shying away from it. I actually would say, and I would give them a thumbs up for the fact that they're really trying to address these problems, right? So you see that big push for solar energy, you see that big push for e-vehicles. Like Shenzhen is run entirely, the public transportation in Shenzhen is entirely electric. So you don't see taxis that are not electric. You don't see buses that are non-electric. Everything is electric, right? And more cars are being electric. Like, so many people buy Tesla, so many people buy these new electric vehicles, because it's also practical, because the government makes it so hard to get a normal car now. Like, if you want to get a normal car in Shenzhen, you need to pay at least 20-30% extra just for the plate, and if you get an electric vehicle, it's for free. The plate is for free. So basically, this makes the electric cars now actually economically super sexy, I would say, and so that's why people have been buying Teslas much more, and that's why Tesla is growing so fast, especially thanks to China. you know. And I think this is definitely something that is going to continue to accelerate in the near future, because you know, that's just like one of those, let's say, pillars for China, this vehicles, the, you know, let's say the sustainability within the city itself, at least, you know, within the urban areas. And so that's something that on the high level it's happening. China is well aware, and they're putting these things in place. But on the grassroots level, again, the entrepreneurs and, you know, these communities and like people talking about these things, that's something that you still don't see that much, and you see it more in Hong Kong or outside of China in the region.